Thursday when you say goodbye to a lot of players I'm sure you've grown to like?
Yeah, I was on the record last year saying the same thing around this time. You root for everybody in this business. You know how hard they work and what they put into their effort and making a contribution to the team. And, not everybody can make the team, but when it's all said and done, everybody that was in camp with us will have contributed to our team somehow and to our success going forward. But yeah, guys make teams or don't make teams for a lot of reasons. It could be numbers at their position, it could be scheme fit, it could be injury, a lot of different things. And we've seen a lot of different guys that have scrapped their way up from the bottom in this league. We've got a lot of guys on our team that are contributors. So the longer you're around it, and I think the other human part of it is, you have kids and you root for your own kids, in life and different things that they're doing, and you see them have successes and you have failures. It gives you a better empathy for those guys, and my empathy for those guys has certainly increased over the tenure of my career.
One of the guys you have to make a decision on is Deshaun Hall. How has he played, and has he graded out as well as he looked, to us just in the games?
Well, pass rushers are important to us, not just pass rushers, but guys that can create havoc up front, and he's done a good job with that. Like you said, we asked him to gain some weight. He did that. Yeah, he's battled some injuries in the preseason. He had to leave the first game with an injury, but showed good toughness and came back from it. And when he's been on the field, he's been productive. Those are the things that we ask from guys. And, like I said, sometimes numbers can be different at positions. Sometimes there's all kinds of different things, whether somebody makes the team or not, but he certainly put himself in a good position.
What did you see from Rodney McLeod finally getting back out there, coming back from injury?
Yeah, it was good to have him back out there. Made a really nice play on his zone read. He made another nice tackle on another play. And he had a couple times in training camp where he sort of took some hits, which I think is important when you're coming back from a major injury like he did, just mentally like, hey, I'm good, I'm okay. And I think that was a really good step for him, and it was good for our defense to have him back. He's such a calming influence on our team, on our defense in particular, and he does such a good job of communicating and executing the scheme. And, it was good to have him back out there. We look forward to a great year from him. Just like, some guys are like super rah-rah guys, like getting guys jacked up. He's one of those guys that, everybody just knows it's going to be okay when he's in there. And I think there's an important part of that too. He's stone cold with his communication. He's always in the right spot, do his job. Those guys are valuable. Not everybody has to be, rah-rah. Sometimes it's, a combination of that. And not that Rodney doesn't play with a lot of fire, he does. But I think when he's back there, his corners, his nickels, his linebackers, they all get a nice sense of calm because he's such a good communicator. He keeps them ahead of problems on the defense and puts everybody in good position.
You mentioned.
Cornerback you have.
Okay, I'll come back.
Okay, cornerback you have. Ronald kind of coming back slowly here. We're getting back in the mix a little bit. How do you view? Without training camp to evaluate guys, how do you look at that cornerback position with him coming back, but also Sidney and Universal being in there and doing a good job?
Yeah, well, those guys played a lot of football for us last year, so it's not just what they've done in training camp, and I'm talking about Sewell and Sid, and I'd even put Vontae in that mix. Guys that have played different corner positions for us. But the good thing about Darby is even though he hasn't played in preseason games, he's gotten some work in training camp, not just, in some of our periods, but even against Baltimore. So, he's been ramped up along the way. He's a veteran player, so I think that adds a little bit to it. And, he's comfortable in our scheme. So now it's just a matter of, getting the final touches on there. But, one of the silver linings, I guess you'd say, of having so many injuries in the secondary last year is we had so many other people play, and it got them experience. So I think that puts not only them in a better position, but it puts our defense in a better position going forward, having more experienced players, and I would put all those guys in that.
You mentioned the importance of pass rushers. Over your time in the league, have you picked up on, I don't know if generality is the right word, but like the way guys develop over time in the league as a pass rusher? Do they usually have it when they come in? Is there like by the second or third year that they really seem to take off? Has there been any kind of pattern or generality that you might have picked up on, or is it totally individual based?
Yeah, not with me. I mean, everybody's different. I mean, that's just life. You know, some guys. I was around Javon Curse's rookie year, and he set an NFL rookie sack record. I've also been around some guys that it took a little bit longer for them to get going. Kyle Vandenbosch suffered injuries 3 of his first 4 years or 2 of his first 3 years, like major injuries. And then we got him after that, and he really took off and had a great career after that. So everybody's a little bit different. Some people are still maturing physically. Some people are changing positions. Some people are, just developing, their technique and things like that. All that goes in. Not everybody's a finished product. So everybody's a little bit different, but there's certainly been examples of guys that have developed and have come on and had great careers.
To follow up on Jeff's question about the cornerbacks, who won that competition to start?
Which one?
It's opposite Ronald.
Yeah, you're going to have to get somebody else to, nice try. But honestly, we're still working, and we're not 100% set in stone. I'm sure the Washington team would like to know where we are right now with all that stuff. We'll just play close to the vest and see what our best groups are and how we can manage. I don't know if it's realistic for some players that coming back from injuries, and we have a lot that haven't played in preseason. I don't know if it's realistic for all those guys to play, every single one of those guys to play every single snap. That'll probably be a case-by-case basis also. So we'll see where it is.
What would you like to see your defense be better at this year than last year?
I don't know. I mean, I think really the bottom line is just winning games. Our job is to keep the score down, and our job is to try to create some turnovers to put the offense in position. That was one area we took a little bit of step back from over the previous year. Turnovers are sort of funny. Sometimes you chase them and you don't get them. Sometimes they come in bunches. Things like that. But when it's all said and done, that's really the way I look at defense is limit points and give your offense a chance, and then also do something to help, and that's getting turnovers. And that's probably the biggest thing over the course of last year. We'd like to do a little better in takeaways.
What are your most vivid memories from the last time you played Case Keenum in the NFC Championship game?
I don't know. He had a really good year that year. Their team had a really good year that year. That just happened to be our day. It happened to be the city of Philadelphia's day. I think a lot of times the first half of that game's a little bit of a blur. I remember P-Rob making that interception and scoring, and Derek Barnett getting a sack strip. Those were big plays. But honestly, the second half of that game moved in like slow motion and high speed at the same time, because it was obvious we were going to win the game, and it was just really cool. It was sort of a party atmosphere the whole second half, and it was fun to be a part of that. Not every game comes down to the last minute. However, you got to win it. But that game, the second half was really a special experience. But that doesn't take anything away from Case Keenum. He really had a great year that year, and we had to play really good defense to come out with that win, and we were able to.
Jim, how was getting closer to the start of the regular season? We haven't seen Fletcher Cox come all the way back yet. What are you seeing behind the scenes, and what's a fair expectation?
Yeah, I put him in that same group with a lot of those other guys that are coming back from injuries that haven't played in the preseason. He's a little bit different because he hasn't been on the practice field maybe as much. Has had some individual stuff and some stuff like that. But he's a veteran player. He's been around, and main thing is making sure that he's healthy and in shape and focused. And I know he's focused, and he's driving with all the other things. So we'll see where he gets.
How has Zach Brown progressed in the defense since the Pats came out in training camp in preseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think any new player, there's going to be an adjustment period. I think that was for Zach, but he's making good, steady progress. Like you mentioned, he's a physical player. You know, you see that when the lights come on. He does some really good things there. He's multidimensional. You know, the accumulation of practice reps covers a lot of things that, you know, come up over the course of the year and things that maybe he's used to in his career doing a little bit different. And Zach's no different than Deho or, you know, any other vets that we've brought in. And as far as, you know, Malik Jackson's the same way. Malik has had, I don't want to even call them growing pains because that's not the right word, but sometimes, oh, that's the way you guys do it here. Okay, this is the way we did that in the past. And usually that's what you're dealing with when you're dealing with veteran players. They're not learning how to play football. It's more just learning how we play and the terminology and how everything fits together. And I put Zach in that category.
Aponte's looked good inside, Jim. Not every corner is suited to play in the slot. Why has he been so good at making that adjustment?
And number one, he's just a good football player. You know, I mean, he's a little small for defensive tackle, but I think he'd figure it out. I mean, that's just him. You know, I mean, how many rookies can you guys recall? I mean, I don't know any that started a game at safety, nickel, and corner in the same season when they were a rookie. It's tough duty. You know, it's tough to learn one position, much less two, much less three, and also experience success at each one of those. So we have confidence in him whenever he goes in the game. But you know, he fits the description of a nickel. He's tough. He can tackle. He's got quickness. He also has speed, and he has really good awareness. You combine all those things, and those are things that are just going to make a good football player, regardless of nickel. And I literally, wherever he is on the field, we have confidence that he can get the job done, and he's given us that confidence through his play.
Thank you.